Namaste, my soul brothers and sisters. In this video I am going to talk about why it is so common that an empath or highly sensitive being and a narcissist end up being in a relationship, and why? Because they have absolutely nothing in common. What I want to achieve with this video is to put the awareness into this subject so we can learn to be aware of the red flags and to stay out of toxic relationships. For those who don't know me, I am Kolbrun Karla. I am an energy healer and a writer, and for example I am going to read for you what I was writing yesterday. That is why I have my computer here in front of me, so I won't forget everything. For me, it has always been so easy to feel the frequency of everything. And when I'm free to use my power and my full potentials, I have been able to achieve amazing things. And I want the same for you. But when we are in toxic relationships, we cannot use our full potentials. And when I feel the energy of an empath that is vibrating highly with its full potentials, it is almost I am seeing and feeling an angel. But this state is impossible to reach if you cannot respect yourself, create boundaries, and knowing your needs in relationships. So many empaths are not vibrating as powerfully as they can, and it is important to feel where we vibrate. Empaths can be vibrating in different levels, even though empathy is a permanent state of certain kind of frequency. There is always a flow. It can be so confusing to feel where we are in the frequency level, but it is so important to feel at least where we want to be, so we can protect ourselves, especially from the narcissist. Your kindness and highly sensitivity with energies is not your weakness, like the narcissist thinks. It is your Kundalini power and connection with the light force that the narcissist needs to supply. It is very natural for an empath to embrace those universal life force energies, and that is the whole reason why an empath attracts a narcissist. Empathy is the true core of an empath, but narcissist doesn't have empathy towards anyone. The empath thrives through the heart space, but the narcissist's drive are mind games. The empath's kindness and highly sensitivity with energies are the triggers for the narcissist, and he actually looks down on the empath for those reasons, even though the empath's energy is the supply for the narcissist. In a relationship, an empath doesn't play games because trust with love comes first from them, and they want to give the gift of freedom towards everything and everyone. But the narcissist starts to play the sick game of control right away. Where was I? I am trying to explain the process in these relationships, so you can maybe be more aware about the red flags and the behavior of the narcissist and the changing of the empath and the environment. The narcissist makes the empath think that they really want to get to know them deeply, and the empath is totally open with trust. The empath doesn't have a clue the intentions of the narcissist, because it is impossible to need a narcissist mind. So while the empath feels that this relationship is unique and deeply connected like never before, and is sharing his or her intimacy, the narcissist is taking down notes what they could use against the empath later on, because their intention is to take their mask off later on to shock, control and rule over the empath's life. But first they need to get to let the empath be addicted to them. So in the beginning of the relationship, the narcissist will behave and say everything they know what the empath connects with and needs. So they can later on take that all away from the empath and just throw some scratches towards them once in a while to keep the empath confused and addicted. So for example, if the empath is spiritual, the narcissist talks a lot about spirituality to create a connection, and it is very common, all this soulmate talk. So for example, the narcissist might say to the empath, let's really get to know each other and bring out the best in each other, because I have had enough of this and that. They come up with all kinds of different excuses about how they have been victimized in past relationships. This is one of the most common techniques they use to get more closeness and for more empathy from the empath. Very early, the narcissist starts to cover up his path by making the empath believe that something is wrong with all her or his ex-partners by telling all kinds of lies about them. More or less how crazy they are and abusive. Because normally the narcissist jumps from one relationship to another and is often in, how can I say it, third-party situation, and they want to be sure that there will be no communication with the new partner and the ex. Well, the narcissist might be friend with some of their ex-partners just to look good, but that is only with the ones that they still control. Yes, the ones that are still waiting for the closure, but that they will never get. The narcissist is actually expecting that one day his cover will be blown up by the new empath. So the narcissist makes sure that nobody will ever trust or believe the empath if they would ever tell. From the beginning of the relationship, when the empath is flowing in trust that his partner is a generous person, the narcissist has already started to cover up the path that they haven't even walked on yet. That is crazy. And how does the narcissist do that? Covering something up that hasn't even happened yet. I will get back to that a little bit later in the video. Even though the empaths start to feel this relationship might be even dangerous, they want to help the narcissist because they are attached already and don't want to give up on this confusion that has started very quickly. For example, the narcissist is very extreme in action. They need to have the last word, or they give the silent treatment. Everything is very confusing. To keep the empath attached, the narcissist has told the empath exactly enough information about their childhood drama and has a hold of the empath's heart in a way. A different kind of person would probably see the red flags and leave, but in this state of the relationship, the empath isn't focused so much on the red flags. They might feel them, but an empath believes there's a higher reason for everything, connected with the universal unconditional love. And an empath believes that everything can be solved. But of course, they will be in a big trouble later on when they get stuck in this relationship without any energy. This is exactly the reason why the narcissist picked an empath to begin with. Because they need their energy. They need an energy supplier for their benefits. Otherwise, the narcissist cannot try to thrive. And yes, I said try to thrive, because a narcissist can never thrive. Because he's never satisfied. He's always hungry and never fulfilled. The narcissist fuel is an admiration from others. And rule number 1 is to have complete control over the empath. And everything that is connected with the empath, for example, how the empath express him or herself, to what their free choices are in life, because they are not free anymore in this relationship. Okay, so pay attention to this, what I am about to say, because this is one of the most dangerous things about narcissists. And that is, the narcissist wants to control over other people's opinions about the empath. And how does the narcissist do that? Well, as the narcissist is a master of mind games and manipulation, he creates a game into other people's mind. Remember, a narcissist plays this game brutally to win. And his prize is the empath's life force energy. There are no limits or boundaries how far they go, and it is impossible for normal people to understand this control game and even the reason for this game. As the master of this game, the narcissist gets everyone that are involved with the empath to play with him, without they even knowing about it. These people can be family members, childhood friends of the empath that know the empath actually very well. And the narcissist plays with them, and they get fooled by the narcissist to play against the empath. So what is going on there? Why does the narcissist need to control relationship that and other people's opinions about the empath? That's because otherwise he cannot have fully control. And to avoid that other might influence the empath, the narcissist makes everyone believe that the empath is crazy. Also, they need to take everything away from the empath, so the empath feels worthless. In that way, the narcissist feels bigger and might be able to hide his or her crazy jealousy. They will never admit they have. Okay, so when the narcissist is using all kinds of technique to make the empath look crazy, they make everyone think that this comes from a place of love and kindness, caring. He's caring for the empath. The narcissist's goal is to isolate the empath. He creates chaos and fear that he likes to snack on, because the narcissist's intention is to confuse the empath so much that he or she will have free access to the empath's life force energy. So a little reminder, it is so easy for empaths to embrace the life force energy because they are connected through the heart space to the universal light, and this a narcissist cannot have. This the narcissist cannot do. They don't have empathy or the heart connection. And at the same time, the narcissist is feeding on the life force energy of the empath. They are also driven by shadow forces. This will go on until the narcissist gets bored and throws the empath away, or hopefully the empath leaves and learns to stick with their boundaries. And what I mean with that is that even you might feel you have boundaries before a relationship with a narcissist, they will never respect your limits and cross over them over and over again until you lose your own sight of them as well. So if someone is crossing over your boundaries, is a big red flag. Anyway, your boundaries are for you, and in a healthy relationship, we don't even have to talk so much about them. But this all about limits and boundaries are challenging for empaths, and the narcissist knows exactly what they are doing. Okay, so how is it possible to ruin the reputation of another being so easily? To make others believe that someone is crazy and not worth to communicate with? How is it possible that some people can just change their opinions and respective of another being just by hearing something from a second hand? I want you to think about if you might be a flying monkey for a narcissist. We all need to stop this together. Well, we are dealing with masters of manipulation, but if you hear something shocking and strange about someone you know well, from somebody in the tightest circle, and you are told to keep it a secret, or if you get information about someone that has a crazy behavior that you have never noticed, wouldn't it be more normal to talk about it openly with the person included? So don't be a flying monkey for anybody. An empathic person would never want anyone involved like this. They solve problems with their partners. So just be aware, and this could be a red flag. I am not talking about light conversations once in a while. I'm talking about if this really starts to change your perspective. Okay, the narcissist makes everyone think like the empath is crazy, violent, and playing mind games, but only from their end, so the empath can never defend themselves. And even worse, they have no idea about this until very late in the game. The narcissist plays brutally and has ideas we can never imagine. Unfortunately, most people outside the friend, family circle will never know what really happened, and it is important to let that go, because within the time, the truth will always come up on the surface by itself. Just with your good intention after you have survived the narcissist. As you know, the energy of truthfulness is one of the lightest of them all, and the lighter the energies are, they vibrate higher up to the light of the universal awareness that we are all connected with. So just relax about that. I really hope that all empaths that are in this situation or have been and are still confused finally realize that the narcissist isn't capable of loving anybody or having empathy towards anyone or anything. They don't even love themselves and are full of shame, and they want to put their shame on you. Many of those narcissists have had horrible childhood, and the empath feels so sorry for them and is very vulnerable because of this. I am talking like this lightly, because I am so much against violence, especially against children. I'm just trying to explain. The different from people that have had horrible childhood and the narcissist that has also had horrible childhood is that the first group has sought for help, and they realize that the shame is not them to carry. They have learned to know that someone else put shame on them to make them feel shameful. They have learned to take responsibility, and they can apologize when they are wrong. But a narcissist will never apologize for anything. So never say shame on you, or you should be ashamed of yourself with your child, because shame has the lowest vibration of all the emotions in the emotional scale. It's closest to death. The narcissist doesn't want to seek within, and to be able to live with themselves, they put shame on the empath, so they feel less shameful about themselves, and also they need to have somebody around them that is feeling worse than themselves, so they can feel better. I mean, that is crazy too. The narcissist thrives, as I said before, on the life force energy of the victims, and they need to be admired, and they need to comment. And by the way, because they will never ever apologize for anything, is because that will make them look weak, and they need to look stronger than others, and they are extremely defensive because they are always right? As I was saying before, an empath believes there's a higher reason for everything and connected with the unconditional universal love. So they stick around longer if there are problems, because they believe in divine time and they don't want to interrupt the natural flow. But this kind of toxic relationship with narcissists is something that nobody expects, and can actually happen to anyone, because the narcissist can reach to everybody. Some of them might see the red flags early and run, and for others the narcissist will throw away very soon because they cannot create their supply, or because the narcissist gets bored very quickly. Why is that the narcissist gets so easily bored? It is because their force is apathy. And the energy of apathy is exactly the opposite of the energy of empathy in the human emotional scale. Even though apathy is at the bottom and the empathy is at the top of the human emotional scale, there is actually so thin line between apathy and empathy that we cannot even see this line sometimes, or feel, when the narcissist is confusing us and playing his manipulating games and using his apathy as a spiritual thing and making it looking like he's empathic. So if you're an empath, or anyone that is in a narcissistic relationship, and you have been wondering why this is happening maybe over and over again, and you are trying to find the reason for this all, try to keep it simple. It is enough for the narcissist to know that you are an empath. You were just an easy target because you have the supply that the narcissist needs, and that's it. You will never get all your answers or any closer with a narcissist. So don't wait for that, because while you're waiting, the game is still on. It's not done. And when is the narcissist done? When is the game over? Well, I'll tell you, when you are done. When you become a narcissist survivor and you can plug in your life force energy again. So my dear empath, you were right all along. Everything has a meaning and everything is connected with the unconditional universal loving light. But you cannot eat the fruits of it when you are in toxic relationship. You need to be free. You need to take yourself away from the situation. You need to move your energy away, no matter what. And when you can stand and look at this life experience with unconditional love towards it and the knowledge of the importance to be empathic, you are done. The game is over. Okay, so be generous, have courage, and be kind. Namaste.